screen. Hello, everyone. We're now live. Donnie here. It's a Wednesday afternoon. It's 2:30 p.m. You're watching Innovation Fika, the Innovation Coffee Break with Donnie, live Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. on LinkedIn and YouTube. Actually, I had planned to go live on Instagram and TikTok as well, but I had some. You've never heard me say this before. I had some technical issues with the camera, so I just switched camera. We didn't have time to connect the Instagram account. But next week, it will be Instagram again, I promise. Anyway, every week, 2:30 p.m., Innovation Fika, Innovation Coffee Break with me, Donnie, and guests. And all of the recordings on YouTube, as you know. The change for 2024 is that everything is under my name. So you'll find the live shows on LinkedIn under Donnie S. Ligonis, my own profile. And also the YouTube shows will be under my profile, under my Donnie profile as well. So I'm leaving the Innovation Fika channels and going under my own profile. Enough about that. Enough about me. And oh, by the way, everybody, as you come online, I know we have almost 90 people signed up today. So as you come online, as usual, please just say who you are, where you're from, say hi so we can say hi to you as well. And then make sure to interact with my guests and me here in the studio as well. Okay, with that, I'll, this is so much. Send a message to Green Room down the hall and ask the assistant to come. Yeah, if they're not too busy, could you ask the guests please to come in? Get in here. No, I have Davis and Tamara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful to have you here. And as always, as I always start these shows, I always ask my guests, who are you and what do you do? So just give us a short 1-minute introduction of yourselves. Tamara.
Okay, I am a solution delivery consultant at Tanki Africa. It deals with insurance and we create software for those companies. On the side, I'm working on this project called X Climate with the GDH Global Development Hub, which is for the Stockholm city and municipalities and helping them improve when it comes to food waste.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Davis Frank here. Very simple. Just an exchange student from University of Dar es Salaam, and we are the front-end developer, and we've been doing this project, which I think on my side it's a very good project, a very wonderful thing that we'll be working on, that we have been given the opportunity from Stockholm study and from KTH, so which is beautiful.
Cool. So, and of course, I have to make some kind of the weather today. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a snowstorm here right now, and I'm not saying that you don't have snowstorms usually where you're used to, but even we think it's a lot of snow now. So it's been. How long have you been here now in Stockholm?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Oh well, then you've seen everything else as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, you didn't come yesterday and sort of.
No.
Okay. Cool. Look at this. Jesper from Malmö. Here we go, from Nigeria. Cool. Welcome online, everyone. Make sure, keep the networking going. Say hi if you come along. And ask questions as well as we get started. I will get started by saying, hang on a minute. You said something called Global Development Hub.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, good. So simple thing is, Global Development Hub is the project that's going on here in KTH. Like, it give us the students from Tanzania, from Africa, from different countries, get the chance to come and study here at KTH. So if you finish the degree, you get the chance to study here. You have been given a scholarship to get here for 1 semester to see how students from KTH are getting the knowledge, and also it gives you broaden your view of your studies, like whatever you studied back at home, and you get to know much better here in KTH, because on my side, I have enjoyed studying here.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. And I didn't even ask him to say that. So thank you for saying that. No, but do you do joint projects with students from KTH and then as well in GDH?
Yeah, we do joint projects and also from even other universities like Stockholm University. Like with our project, we had guys from different universities and we were able to work together at Open Lab and work on this project, which we started in January.
Cool. And the project you're working on, you said it was called X Climate.
Yeah.
It is with or for Stockholm, the city of Stockholm?
The challenge giver was Stockholmstad.
Okay.
They gave us this challenge that they have, and so it was up to us to like research and
Okay.
come up with a solution. And now what we are doing with them is basically using their data to test our solution, and we're using them as our client, sort of,
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah.
give us the feedback.
And what was the actual challenge that they posed in the beginning of the to start the project? What was the challenge from the city of Stockholm?
So the challenge was climate data, and that was a very broad term. We had to know what the climate data particularly was, but basically it was a Excel sheet full of data, and we're supposed to make this data useful when it comes to the chefs in the departments within the Stockholm municipalities. That's the preschools, the social care, and the elderly care as well.
Yeah.
So they would send this data to the principals in the preschools and tell them, hey, this is how much carbon emissions you're using by buying all these things in your kitchens. But then they would never check those emails. That data is too much to look at. And so we had to make it useful, evolve them and make it more inclusive, and help make the data more useful. And be a way for them to now start working on food waste and reduce, carbon emissions through food waste.
But I mean, that is super interesting, because I always make the distinction between data, and then people talk about big data, which is a big and that large amount of data, but that doesn't really mean anything until you analyze it and make it into something that I can make a decision on. So the data actually becomes useful for me. So I think that what you've been doing is super useful, not only for climate, but the whole sort of idea of working with big data sets that we can get out from every, with the connected world. All the trillion bytes of data that we're aggregating now, and learning how to analyze and also visualize to create foundations for making decisions. But in this case, you were analyzing climate data in order to help you mentioned a number of preschools and schools.
Preschools, elderly care, and social care. However, we had to zone it down when it comes to testing. You have to get to the one small and then now scale up. So we started with the preschools, and that's what we're actually kicking off now, testing with them.
Okay. And what kind of, when you get the data and then you go through it, what kind of information do you give to them so they can? I mean, what in the discussions with them, what have you come to understand that they need to make any kind of decision? So
the data is kind of just an Excel sheet, and their numbers, and it's so much. And every month they receive this data, and so we have to sort of I don't know how to say it, but make the data more useful in a way, we specify this is the amount of food, this is the particular food, this is a particular municipality using the most amount of food products that that have a lot of carbon emissions. We specify, it becomes more specific, and they're able to narrow down and look. And it's the whole system, basically, if we could show it to you, is flexible, because these climate goals that are set up by the government every 4 years, because politicians change, we have made our system in a way policies can change and be used to track. So we can track how good we are working when it comes to reducing the carbon emissions, and it helps policies be instilled well from the top level to the chefs in the kitchen.
So but the preschools, then you tell them that this is how well or not you've been handling, in this case, food, out of a climate perspective. So it's what they buy and what they use and
So a climate goal is set. And once the climate goal is set, every month we analyze the data and give that particular preschool, we show them this is how much, if you're above the climate goal set by the government, or you're below the climate goal set. And if you are above the climate goal, you've improved by this, and you've bought these kinds of products. And when you're past and you're not doing well, this is why. We show you, we help you pinpoint what you can do. It helps decision making within the organization. So the principals don't just look at the data and give it to the chefs and tell them buy better products. You know, now they know this is the better product.
So what is it? Okay. So what is a better product then? I mean, if we're just doing the, you know, the simple stuff. I mean, when it comes to food, if I'm running a preschool or any kind of, well, at home as well, but what is better and what is worse? Might sound like an obvious question, but you know, let's go through the basics.
Actually, that's the hard question.
Yeah.
And some of it, somehow we can say that it's obvious and hard question, but what's better and what's worse? Actually, on my side, I can say like nothing is better and nothing is worse. Why? And so it depends on your usage of things. Like I can say like today I'll be eating meat like for the whole month. That is already worse. You are making us, you are already like consuming, because meat has too much of CO2 emissions, carbon emissions. But if you say you plan your meals, like say like for a week I'll be eating meat twice a day. So which be like that's good, because I will be decreasing the carbon emission. That's why the climate data comes in now. It shows you like you have been eating meat too much now. But at least come on, give it a break, huh? At least 1 week or 2 times. And so that you can control the carbon emissions. Because,
was it anything that surprised you when you started looking at the data and I was like, wow, look at this, and any surprises?
I think for me, one thing that struck out was basically nutrition is a very key thing, especially for kids. They need to eat healthy food. Number 2 is that we are looking at ecological food. And when you even go to the supermarket here in Stockholm, ecological food is higher priced compared to like the regular food. So that's another thing. And we need to account for all those, because these organizations are spending money, and at the same time they need to reduce carbon emissions set by the government. So when we are creating the solution, we need to show the expenses, how are the expenses going into carbon emissions, so that they can make better decisions. We also not only provide this solution, but we also advise them with meal prepping, cookbook, and involving the kids in cooking sessions. We came up with a couple of solutions which we shared with the kids, and also Stockholm Stad and the chefs as well, and they liked these ideas. And the point of our system will actually bridge and close the gap when it comes to policies to the kitchen, where the action all begins. So I think that's what struck out for me.
On my side, it's the government. Like I'm impressed on the government, how itself has been struggling or fighting to help the citizen itself to reduce the CO2 emissions. Because by the first of all, like having all the climate data, even though the people get the climate data, but they don't understand how to use it, it's been them confusing. On my side, like that, everything is here. The government has been already trying to help the citizen. So I think on my side, that was one thing that was surprised to me, and I found it like I was very impressed on my side.
Interesting as well, but I don't know how to phrase this question, but how do the politicians know? You talked about them setting a threshold. How do they know what to set to start with? I mean, they can say, "Oh, it has to be 0," but or whatever. I don't know. How do they know what to pick?
That's the thing. You see, all we know is that by 2040 they have set out a target to reach carbon neutrality. And so now they come up with goals every 4 years, and they have strategists within Stockholm Stad, and they enforce. They help this. They tell these strategists, please and help engage the schools and everything. So there's a breakdown in communication there, because by the time that communication and gets everyone included in this whole process, they don't really end up meeting the climate goals if you are too specific. And we can't even chat and track and monitor between certain periods of time that we've done this and this. So this system eventually will help them track. They'll be able to see, now we can go to this number.
The X-climate.
Exactly. So that's the essence of our system.
And how can we find this online somewhere? Can you see it online?
Yeah, we have a platform, a demo.
Okay.
Davis.
I mean, we're not going to demo anything live here, so don't worry
Yeah.
about that. It's okay.
Oh, no,
don't worry.
that's not a-
Don't worry.
it's-
But just to share I'll share the link with the afterwards.
Yeah, right now it's in the prototype, so it's in xclimate at vessel.com.
Hmm.
So that's the where you can find. Yeah, so we have two links. You can find the prototype right now. It's up there. It's xclimate.vessel.com, and then there is xclimate.app.com.
Okay. And what can I do there? And
Davis.
Quickly, when you just get in the system, it will you will just be able to. It gives you the access to login. We can also share the login info for the testing purpose. You'll be able to see, and it take you straight to the climate goals that's going on right now.
Okay. And so who do you see using this system in the future? Is it the municipality or a city or a school or everybody? Who is going to use who's going to go online and use the system afterwards, do you think, in the future?
So we've created the system in such a way the strategists can look at it and edit the goal. We've also made it inclusive also the principals at the schools, and we also have it for the chefs where they can also give their feedback and maybe they have improvements that they would like us or the procurement process of these foods. And this all goes to the Stockholm City because they have a whole procurement process, and this in turn helps them give their feedback to the Stockholm Stad or Stockholm City. And while they make these decisions that they'll have to enact on, they are taken into account, all their feedback and everything. So it's made to be holistic, though of course, this is to do with the government, and of course, security and data, all that is very important. So of course, not everyone should be able to access that data. So we are going to limit it for use and within organizations. In the long run, we see it very feasible for municipalities and policy in action. Like when there's a policy that has been set and we need to track numbers and stuff like that, especially when you're working towards the SDG goals and climate action. This is a perfect platform for that. And I think
a perfect platform.
Nice.
You heard it here first. It's a perfect platform for that. Wonderful. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a perfect platform for that. And and I think it can also be used in companies. Because we think we can also track more than just food. We can track plastic use, because that's very important, and also energy consumption within organizations, for example, GDH, where we are right now. So it can be used holistically and it's flexible in different kinds of setups. And that's why we've made the system useful.
Yeah, of course. I'm super impressed. I think it's really, really cool. I mean, we could probably spend the rest of the day just talking about the system as such and what you're doing with it. But if we're going to talk to municipalities, cities out there, because I mean, it starts in Stockholm, but of course, we want this to spread to other cities and municipalities as well, of course, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say disregarding the system, but if you were going to give, a city or a city or a municipality, some, super simple tips and advice to how to start acting today to become a greener, cleaner city. What would you, from the year that you've been here now and you've been working with this and the learnings that you have, what sort of things would you say, well, you need to do this and this and this? What would you say to them?
So I would say promote the old people who are involved in this. The kids are very key, because the kids are the ones who are going to eat the food, or the elderly are the ones who are going to eat the food. So you need to know what they like and what they don't like. You also need to work with the chefs. They didn't really work with the chefs initially, and we were the ones who gathered feedback. We gathered a lot of insights from the chefs, and we told Stockholm Stad, like, this is what we found out, and they're like, oh, we didn't know a lot of this. So we need to have like inclusivity. We need to involve parties. We need to get them involved, promote them, incentivize them, and help them feel like they are a part of this. Because once they feel like they are a part of this, they will want to be a part of this change. So I think that's the main thing, because we created other concepts besides this system, and we actually showed them these concepts. We had focus groups. We had a cookbook, where a monthly cookbook where they'd share and do things with the kids and create meals with the kids, and they'd go with this cookbook home and share it with their families and mom and dad and show, mom, we could cook this and this, helping them, see, this is better, this is what we cook, this instead of buying lots of meat and so on.
So now you have kids coming home and saying to their parents, what, meat today again?
Yeah.
Actually, that's the most part of it, like being able, because if your kid asks you, like, I want this kind of food, that's one thing, like, you're gonna say, like, okay, let's prepare this, let's cook this, let's go and eat this. So if kids ask you for some changes, it'll be easy for the parents to involve in those changes. So that's why even our prototype, we decided to start from the preschool first, because we wanted it to get involved in all the way.
But I like that. I like the whole idea of that we need to get everybody involved and actually then, and visualize everything for everyone, because that's, I think, the only way to actually get things going. We actually have some people here. Here's Gerald from Kenya. Amazing conference. Thank you, Gerald. And feel free to ask any questions. I would say we had the Nigeria there as well, and the south of Sweden we have there as well. Hi, LinkedIn user Jesper from Alma there. If there's anybody online that wants to ask a question, please fire away now. We have another couple of minutes before we close down for today's Innovation Fika. How long are you staying in Sweden?
Well, we have a whole testing process going on. So 6 months or so. And then we'll see, depending on how our testing process goes.
Super exciting. I'm really excited to. I've been working a lot with food and climate change, and I had a couple of cases here as a business coach at KTH Innovation on this specific subject as well. And I've seen firsthand the actual enormous amount of change you can achieve by doing what you're doing. I mean, talking to the chefs and the schools and all of the people out there, because as they change their recipes, then they start buying less of the heavy carbon footprint food and more of the other one, and then suddenly it just starts changing. And I know some restaurants, they've lowered their carbon footprint by like 50% over time, just because they started buying differently. And they still have some meat now and then, but another fun tip that came up from one restaurant was that they for the lunch of the day, when people came and bought lunch, they ordered them in the order of best climate friendly and least climate friendly. So when people were buying lunch, they were sort of they didn't really want to go for the bottom one, because and they sort of nudged people to pick a more climate friendly plate, and then of course they could put the plates together so they were more climate friendly as well. So it was a whole learning process, both for the chefs and the people buying the food, but also for the people who were eating. We said the ones that were eating the food got to understand which food should I pick, preferably. So I think this is a fantastic project. I'm really, really excited about this.
Very fantastic. Like the way you say, and we even come across the one thing, like the product origin. Like the food that you're gonna eat. Like let's say I'm gonna cook meat, but where that meat coming from? Like people don't know where that meat comes from. But if you put the meat that's come from your region, that will be less carbon emissions, because there is no transportation for
so there's a difference between meat and meat as well.
If there is product and product, there is different. Like that's why you come in the system again, you will get the product origin from the data from the system again.
Okay, look at this. Happy to hear everyone. This is a nice one. Thank you for this. Eye-opening one. Thank you. Great being a part of it. Thank you very much. Well, with that, my dear friends, I'm looking at the time here, only a few minutes ago. I will say thank you so very much for coming to the show today. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you for coming and joining the Global Development Hub project as well. Congratulations on getting into the scholarship thing as well. You must be the smartest people. Because I know they only pick the smartest people, of course. And good luck with X-Climate.
Thank you.
And it was like, again, the URL was
xclimate.vessel.com.
Okay.
And the second one is xclimate.app.com.
Oh, look. Here, question. Can the project be replicated in other countries? And what can the challenge be in terms of policy? Anything there? Any quick?
Yeah, the quick reply for that is the challenge or upon that will depend on the data, because in Stockholm, it's very good thing because the data is already being collected.
Yeah.
But in other countries, there might be a difficult on collecting data collection.
Of course.
That might be one of the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Other than that, there is no challenge.
Okay, cool, very good. Another good one from Gerald. Any thoughts on neglected food, herbs, fruit that grow naturally? Can these replace cultivated foods?
Yes. I'm sure the thing is, when foods are left somewhere for long, they obviously perish and they're not good. So we need to find ways of making these foods, either by drying the foods or freezing the foods, or sort of meal prepping in a way. Those are some of the techniques, and these are things we've shared with the chefs in Stockholm City. And of course, these are things we don't want to only limit in Stockholm. I think they can be applicable globally and even in Africa, because I know one thing from where I'm from in Kenya. When we have a lot of farmers who have a lot of fruits and everything, but they don't really get to sell them in the markets, and they end up having a lot. When these fruits, for example, let's say oranges, can be turned into jam, and these fruits can be used in different kinds of ways. So it's basically sharing information out there and talking to these farmers and talking to even the consumers as well, letting them know that these other kinds of ways of consuming food. Yeah.
Good. That sounds like a separate session we should do one day
Yeah.
on that one. That's it. Thank you, Gerald, for asking that very good question. And hi, Milan from Bosnia. We have people from all over the world here on the show, which is super cool. It's not 11. It's 14:58 with 2 minutes on the clock. I will again say thank you to everybody watching. Make sure to connect with Tamara and Davis on LinkedIn as well. You can find them there. Connect with them and get in touch and keep the discussion going around X-Climate. I'm Donny, Innovation Fika, every Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. I'll see you next week, same place, same time. With that, I will say thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.